Can't innovate anymore, my ass.
The success of Apple's Mac Pro hasn't really been the greatest in the past decade, with the 2013 Trashcan Mac Pro being a failure for its overheating problems, and the most recent 2019 Mac Pro Tower being quickly destroyed by the new Apple Silicon Macs. But now, Apple is ready to usher in a new age of the Mac Pro, fully modernized and ready for the future with the fastest Apple Silicon chip they've ever created, and I now believe we have enough evidence for this new Mac Pro to be revealed at WWDC in just over a week from today. So let's jump right into the biggest pieces of evidence, ones that aren't just from random leakers like this unverifiable source on Twitter who says a new 15-inch MacBook Air, Mac Pro, and headset are coming at WWDC, even though I actually believe him. In April, Nicholas Alvarez discovered some code within Find My Configuration showing 3 unannounced desktop Mac models, which could possibly be an updated Mac Studio, a Mac Pro, or both. As you can see, 2 model numbers are similar, 1413 and 1414, which could correspond to both an M2 Max and M2 Ultra Mac Studio, and then the 148 number might be the Mac Pro. Going further, back in February, Apple filed a new Bluetooth 5.3 listing, which could be hinting at the release of some new Mac products, including the 15-inch MacBook Air and the Mac Pro. And this makes sense because they already had the new M2 family MacBook Pros and Mac Minis on the listing, which all have Bluetooth 5.3 already. Now, there was another huge leak within Apple's beta code, but first, I want to show you guys a massive leak update from Mark Gurman, who was recently on the Mac Rumors podcast. But before we get into that, I've got to talk about the best shoes I've ever had from our partner Vessi, a brand that makes 100% waterproof shoes. And yes, they really are 100% waterproof. When I bought this pair just before winter, I could literally walk through snow, even snow blowing my driveway and washing them under the sink. The inside stays completely dry, which is mind-blowing for such a comfortable slip-on shoe. We also recently went through the rainy season when I could walk through puddles and wet morning grass with 100% dry socks. I honestly love Vessi so much that I bought my wife 2 pairs, the Chelsea boots and now another pair for the spring, being lightweight and very comfortable for everything, including enjoying our e-bikes and especially mountain biking. They're literally the best shoes I've ever had. So check out a variety of styles by using the link below to save up to 30% with Vessi's Memorial Day sale. And in case you missed it, you can still get 15% off your order with the code MAXTECH at checkout. So use that link to pick up your favorite style of Vessi's today. Now getting back to what Mark Gurman said about the Mac Pro, just listen to this clip.
And I think part of the reason why you're seeing that 15-inch MacBook Air being an M2 and then the M3 coming later is because you don't want to launch an M3 before you launch the M2 Ultra chip coming in the Mac Pro. And then in terms of the conflict with the Mac Studio, what I believe is we're not going to see a new Mac Studio until the M3 generation at the earliest. So I don't believe there'll be an M2 Ultra Mac Studio.
So Mark is basically saying 3 things here. Number 1 is that the Mac Pro is still coming this year. Number 2 is that the M2 Ultra Mac Pro must come before the M3 chip. And number 3 is that the Mac Studio will not be getting updated until the M3 Ultra chip is ready. And the thing about the regular M3 chip is that it could be released as soon as this fall, and in that case, Apple absolutely must reveal the Mac Pro at WWDC. However, there is a chance that the M3 gets delayed until the spring next year, and then Apple could wait until the fall to reveal the Mac Pro, which could be why Mark personally doesn't think it's coming this June. Now, some people online were actually speculating that Apple might even skip the M2 Ultra chip altogether, saying that there's no guarantee that Apple even built in the same Ultra Fusion bridge into the M2 Max die like they did with the M1 Max, which they revealed last year in March. However, TA Tech 15 posted a real photo of the M2 Max die on Twitter, and if you look really closely and past the black brush, you can see the M2 Max dies interconnect, meant to create the M2 Ultra. So I fully believe we're getting the M2 Ultra chip with the Mac Pro this year. But getting back to the major leaks, 9to5Mac found references to a new compute module device within iOS 16.4 code, which is likely coming sometime this year based on the timing of this leak. What it sounds like to me and many others is something like an add-in computational card with Apple Silicon, which can upgrade or boost the power of a device. Now, at first, many people thought it was meant for powering Apple's VR headset, but we recently got a leak of the headset's bill of materials with many different components, including 2 main chips. Those components all total out to $1,400 or around $1,600 with shipping costs included in terms of the expense for Apple, and there is no mention anywhere about a compute module since the headset is meant to be standalone. So because of that, it's likely that these modules are destined for the Mac Pro, allowing you to buy potentially a bare bones Mac Pro Tower chassis and then upgrade your Mac Pro with these modules over the years instead of having to buy the entire chassis every single time. And apparently, Benjamin on Twitter found an Apple patent that seems to confirm support within a Mac Pro for slottable GPU cards, mentioning assignable M GPUs and kick slots. We also had Hatchitech on Twitter, who currently lacks a credible track record, but he began talking about the customizable Apple Silicon cards days before the exclusive iOS 16.4 leak found by 9to5Mac. Apparently, he says Apple has been building modules using M1 or M2 CPU variants with different layouts of memory, performance, efficiency, and graphics cores, and it'll work alongside the existing SoC. He also said that Apple might have a new chip named X1 with a base configuration of 48 GPU cores, but it might just be a placeholder name since his source came across it via a printed diagnostic of CPU performance. And finally, we also have a big update from a leaker with a solid track record. The Mac Rumors forum user Amethyst, who previously leaked the Mac Studio days before anybody else, and he was completely right. Back in January, he confirmed that 3 months later, Apple sent his source another Mac Pro prototype, which is still based on the 2019 Mac Pro Tower. It has 6 PCI Express slots and has no user replaceable RAM. So it seems like that's the design Apple is sticking with. On top of that, there will apparently be a monster of a chip for the new Mac Pro, hinting at an M2 Extreme with 4 M2 Max dies like Amethyst thinks it's getting, although Mark Gurman said that was canceled, so I'm not really sure. But the huge update came on March 4th with confirmation that it'll use an M2 Ultra chip for sure, with Apple trying to push the performance cores to 4.2 GHz with success, but with much more power consumption, and the heatsink can easily handle the heat. However, they haven't decided just yet if they'll stick to that much performance. So with that said, I think we have sufficient evidence to assume that Apple will at least reveal the Mac Pro at WWDC, even if they don't launch it right away. However, keep in mind that Mark Gurman doesn't think it's getting revealed just yet, so I could be wrong. But you let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one, and check out those 2 other WWDC leak videos right there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.